A brief intro. Julius was from a very poor background. He was the only child of Pastor and Evangelist Mrs. Kehinde. Despite their poverty, his parents made sure to bring him up with proper Christian values. But all this would change the moment Aki, his childhood friend, came into the picture. Akin came back to town with a nice car and a lot of money to throw around. He had become successful overnight. And against the better judgment of his parents, Julius followed Aki back to the city to learn the secrets of his trade and to make so much money, just like Aki. Little did he know, he was about to go down a very dark path. Aki took Julius and some of his other boys to the shrine of a prophet for money ritual. The prophet ordered them, among other things, to each throw a live goat into the river simultaneously. Everyone's goat was taken by the river deity, except for Julius' own, much to the surprise of the prophet and everyone. The next day, something strange started happening in Aki's house. Aki received a terrible news from home. His mother had just died mysteriously last night in her sleep, even though she did not show any sign of ailment the previous day. Julius was there when the call came in. He was surprised that Aki was very calm. He did not roll on the ground and weep like someone who had just lost a close relation. He opened a bottle of wine and started sipping it quietly, much to the dismay of Julius. But then, to Julius' surprise, all the other boys started receiving phone calls from home. They had each lost a very close and important family member, and just like Aki, they did not cry. Some even had the look of contentment and great expectation on their face. They all joined Aki in the living room and started drinking and smoking while talking in low tones. Julius saw all that was happening, and it began to dawn on him that the sacrifices of goats they did the previous day was not ordinary. The spirit of their loved ones had been invoked into these goats, and the death of these goats marked a sure end for each of their relatives. Julius was terrified, even though he was ready to do anything to make money. The thought of using his relative for money ritual sent shivers down his spine. He went into his bedroom and with shaking hands and tears welling up in his eyes, he dialed his mother's telephone line for the first time in months to see if she was still breathing. The phone started ringing on the other side. Julius had skipped a beat. He was in dread of what bad news may await him. The phone rang, but no one picked. Julius' apprehension skyrocketed. He dialed her phone number again, and this time around, to his great relief, someone picked up the call, and he said hello from the other end. It was Faith, Julius' mother. Julius breathed a sigh of relief while greeting her in a shaking voice. While trying to hide his emotion, Faith was very surprised and happy to hear her son's voice after all these months. They had been trying to reach Julius since he left, but clearly he had changed his telephone line upon getting to Akin's house. Julius was very inquisitive. He was asking many questions at the same time.
Mama, how are you? I hope everyone is okay. How is Papa? I hope he is okay. I hope he is feeling fine.
He asked all these questions in one single breath. Faith reassured him that everyone was fine and healthy, but she could not help but wonder why her son was sounding like someone who had heard bad news from home. "My son, what is the matter?" she queried, with a worried look on her face. Julius' mind was at rest. He gave some flimsy excuse and promised to come back home soon, and he called the call. Julius exhaled in relief. He was glad he had not used his family member for ritual. Even though Julius' sacrifice was rejected, trouble was lurking around the corner. The result of the visit to the prophet was fast and immediate. Starting from the very next day, Aki and the rest of the boys started cashing out some mind boggling sums of money. It was as if a strange force was pushing the rich people they were chatting with online to send them money. Even those who were broke but were unfortunate enough to be in their net had no other option than to approach financial institutions to borrow as much money as they could possibly take to send to them. Their senses of reasoning, covered by the prophet's spell and the blood sacrifice that has been made. The wealth of Aki and his boys grew per second. It was like magic. Julius watched all this happening right before his eyes. But then it was as if he was stagnant. Nothing was happening for him. None of his clients were paying. Rather, they were blocking and reporting his fake social media accounts. Much to his dismay, and it began to dawn on him that he may never become rich just like Akin if he did not get involved in money ritual. And this really bothered Julius. But then, while these worried thoughts were running through his mind, something else was starting to give him concern. It was Aki and the rest boys. Following their return from the prophet place, their attitude towards him started changing gradually. They become really cold towards him, and Julius felt like an outcast in Akin's house. Even though there was no physical quarrel between them, the silence was loud and the tension was quite tense. Akin had opened up to Julius that he need to do money ritual for him to make the type of money he and the other boys were making. And he offered to personally take him to see the prophet to conduct some rituals on him. But then, Julius was hesitant. Even though he wished to become rich like Aki, he just was not ready to take anyone's life in the process. And he told Aki he needed some time to think about this and make up his mind. Aki and his boys soon started making preparation to travel out of the country on a 2 week vacation to the white man's land to visit 5 European countries to see some beautiful places and enjoy their massive wealth. And they flew out of the country, leaving behind Julius to take care of the house along with some domestic staff. Julius was heartbroken. He felt he was being sidelined because he was broke and was not making any money like the rest of the boys. Even though Julius was glad that none of his relatives fell victim of the rituals, he just could not help but long for the life Akin and the rest of the boys were living, a life only this ritual could make possible in such a short period of time. Akin soon returned back from the 2 week vacation, and that was when things started going south very fast for Julius. The Akin that came back from the vacation was a changed man. He was very angry and mean towards Julius. The moment he got back home, Julius rushed out to welcome them back warmly, but the response he received was unlike anything he expected. Aki did not answer his greeting. Aki was looking around the house with a menacing look on his face, like a dog searching to pick up a scent. After a while, he stopped. Turning to Julius, he started in a harsh tone.
My friend, what is the meaning of this nonsense? Why did you leave my house so rowdy and unkept?
He asked with the look of anger on his face. Julius was very surprised. He had not seen Akin this angry before. And to add to it, the house Akin was complaining bitterly about was not visibly dirty. It was quite clean and well taken care of.
But the house is not that dirty.
Julius started, stuttering, but Akin shouted at him to shut up immediately, even before he could complete what he wanted to say.
You are very stupid for making that statement.
Akin started in a very harsh tone, much to Julius' surprise.
I can see you are starting to grow wings in my house. So you cannot talk back at me while I'm talking, right? Henceforth, you must do all the house chores in this house. Otherwise, I will throw you out.
He told him, with a look of displeasure clearly written all over his face. Julius kept mute. He did not utter a single word for fear of provoking Aki any further. Julius was very confused and unhappy. He wondered what he had done wrong to deserve such treatment from Aki, his childhood friend. All the same, he decided to be patient and hope for the best. And just like so, Aki sacked all the house help in charge of cleaning the big house daily. He was only left with the chef, who was the best in town, to keep making delicious meals for him. And every morning, Julius was tasked with the peculiar job of cleaning the big house, sweeping, mopping, and cleaning everywhere. He would also wash the clothes of the other boys and press them once dry. And to add to his hard labor, Aki only allowed him to eat the leftovers from the plates he had used to eat with his boys. And on the evenings, when Akin would be visiting the nightclubs with the other boys, he would make sure to lock him outside, where he would sit with the night guard till daybreak, enjoying the mosquito bites. Julius was very unhappy at this ill treatment from Aki, his friend, and he would shed bitter tears. He knew Aki was treating him like a slave in his house because he was not making money like everyone else. But then, Julius decided not to jump into a conclusion. Maybe he had offended him in some ways, he thought to himself, and he decided to approach him to seek for his forgiveness. Julius summoned up courage. With finger crossed, he approached Aki.
My dear friend, please, did I wrong you in any way? Please tell me so I can apologize to you. You are very cold towards me and are easily angry with whatever I do.
He told him with a worried look. Aki did not mince words. He told him right away.
Julius, listen and listen good. I am tired of caring for you. You are not making any money. All you know how to do is to eat my food and get fat. In short, I'm giving you from now till tomorrow morning to make up your mind to do the rituals. Otherwise, pack your load and leave my house.
He told him bluntly. Julius was quiet. He knew this was coming, but he never knew it would be this fast. Throughout that night, Julius could not sleep. He was tossing on the bed with so many worried thoughts running through his mind. He wished for the life Aki was living. He wished to become respected by all and his name to be held and held in high esteem. He wanted to make massive wealth and to be able to afford all the good things of life. But even at that, he felt it was not worth shedding blood for, and he made up his mind not to do the ritual. The following morning, Julius told Aki of his resolve. Aki smiled.
You are free to go, my friend. But whenever you come to your senses and are ready for the good life, just know my doors are wide open to receive you.
He told him with a slight smile on his face. Julius left Akin's place, back for their little community, with nothing to show for all the time he had spent in the city. A thousand thoughts were flowing through his mind, wondering if he had taken the right decision. Even though he had his doubts, deep down, he knew he was back on the right track. Julius soon got back home. Pastor Kehinde and Faith received him back with open arms. Faith embraced her only child with motherly affection while crying profusely. She had been praying for God to touch Julius so he would have a change of heart and come back home. Pastor Kehinde and Faith were dumbfounded when Julius told them his story and how Aki almost lured him into doing money ritual. They were thankful to God for preserving their life. It also became clear to them that Aki's mother's death was not ordinary. They just could not believe that Aki could go that deep in search of wealth and power. The death of Aki's mother was the talk of the town then, but everyone thought it was just a natural occurrence. No one even suspected it was her own child that had used her for money rituals. Pastor Kehinde once again advised Julius.
My son, I'm so happy you are finally seeing the truth for yourself. There's no gain in quick riches acquired through dark means. There are so many skills today that can make you good money, even though you may not be wealthy overnight, but they can still make you rich slowly over the years. You will live a peaceful life and your conscience will be clear.
He told him while tapping him gently on his shoulder with a look of fatherly compassion on his face. Julius took the words of his father to heart and he decided to take life more seriously and learn a trade. And after doing his research, he decided to learn welding and fabrication of iron gates from a renowned welder in the community. Even though he knew being a welder won't make him rich like Akin and the rest boys, yet he won't be poor either. He could make enough money to take care of his family and aging parents. Julius was very diligent with learning this craft. Every morning, even before his master would be at the shop, he would already be there before the rest of the boys to clean the place for the day's work. This really warmed the heart of Akintola, his master. He could see some real seriousness in Julius. Even Pastor Kehinde and Evangelist Faith were very happy with his dedication to the work. Julius also started taking his Christian faith more seriously. He never missed Sunday and midweek services, and he always took out time to study the Holy Bible. But then, Julius soon started noticing someone in church. It was Shola, the choir mistress. She was really beautiful, and she had an angelic voice. Whenever she sings, the glory of the Lord will envelop the whole place. The people will fall under the influence of the Holy Spirit. Julius really enjoyed listening to her every Sunday, and he soon started falling in love with her. This is the lady I must get married to, he thought to himself with a soft smile on his face. And Julius was bold enough to express his love and feelings to her. Shola told him she would pray over it and give him a response the next day. Throughout that night, Julius could not sleep. It was as if there were butterflies in his stomach. He just hoped and prayed that Shola would give him a positive feedback. And the next day, when they met, Shola gave Julius the news that made his heart almost burst out with joy. She agreed to date him. Julius could not believe his ear. He was very happy, but then her acceptance came with a very clear condition. They must do the relationship in a Christian way, meaning no sex before marriage. Even though this condition was a bit uncomfortable for Julius, he respected her decision and accepted to keep a holy relationship with Shola. He was ready to do anything that would make her happy and accept him as the love of her life. Julius and Shola were very fond of themselves. They were always attending church weekly program together. They were clearly in love with each other, and Julius started making plans to settle down with her. He had been serving his master for almost a year now, and it was just a couple of months left before he will be through with his apprenticeship and start his own wedding business. And he planned to get married to Shola and raise a family with her. Immediately, he set up his own workshop and started making money. In the meantime, Julius started saving money for his workshop. Akintola, his master, was a good man. Whenever he was contacted for some construction job, he would make sure to share a part of his profit with Julius and the rest of his loyal boys. Julius did not squander this money he was receiving from these jobs. He gave everything to Shola, his fiancée. She was aware of his plans, and he trusted she would keep the money very safe for him so that their future would be secure. And through his prudence and living frugally, he was able to save 5 million naira with Shola, an ample sum at that time, sufficient to open a workshop and buy some of the first equipment that he will be needing for the workshop to run once Julius' apprenticeship was over. But then, this was when something crazy and rather unexpected started happening. It was Shola. She was dipping her hands into Julius' money to cater for some of her family needs. It was either she used some part of the money to pay for hospital bills for her sick siblings, or she borrowed a part to her mother for her business, so on and so forth. Julius was aware of some of these expenses, and whenever he complained about her excessive spending, she would reassure him that he should not worry, that the money would be replaced even before he would need it. Anyway, Julius trusted Shola. He felt she knew what she was doing, since she was aware of how important this workshop was for the both of them once they got married. And their relationship went on like so until something happened. It was on a Saturday morning. Julius was strolling along the street when a young man drove a laser jeep past him, and something caught his eyes immediately. Shola, his girlfriend, was seated in the front seat of the car. Much to his great surprise, he knew all of Shola's relatives, yet he did not know the owner of this car. Even though Julius trusted his girlfriend, he could not help but have some doubts in his mind, and to confirm his suspicion, just a few pulls away, the jeep pulled into a hotel just by the end of the street. Hey, before we jump right back into our story, today massive hug goes to Mabel watching from Ghana and Kelechi watching from Qatar. Thank you so much for the love and support. Where are you watching our story from? Type it in the comment section so I can send you a hug in our next story. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and leave a like on this video. Alright, back to our story. Julius stopped in his track. He just hoped it was not what he was thinking. He brought out his phone and dialed Shola's line. She picked up the call. He asked her whereabouts, but the reply she gave to him made his heart sink. She told him she did not go anywhere, that she was at home and had just woken up from a short nap. Julius put his hands on his head. It was clear what was happening. Shola was cheating on him. Anyway, to truly confirm his suspicion, Julius waited outside the gate of the hotel. He must confront Shola and find out things for himself. He waited and waited, and after some hours, he spotted the vehicle Shola was in coming out from the hotel. He signaled for them to stop, and the car parked. Shola came down from the car to meet Julius with a look of defiance on her face. Julius couldn't hide his displeasure. He confronted her right away as to why she was cheating on him, and to his dismay, Shola did not deny the allegation. She spat out in anger. Julius, let this be the first and last time you will come near me. It is over between us. As you can see, we are no longer in the same class. I'm in love with someone else who is 100 times better than you. Try and get that into your thick skull, she told him bluntly. Julius' jaw dropped in disbelief. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. It was as if he was dreaming. And right before his eyes, Shola went back into the car with the young man and they zoomed off, blowing dust in his face. And just like so, the romantic relationship between Julius and Shola came to a premature end. But the effect of the breakup was huge on Julius. Even though Shola cheated on him, he was still ready to be with her. But then, Shola was very evasive. He had gone to her family house on several occasions to speak with her, but the parents were very cold towards him. They won't allow him to come inside, and they always told him she was not around. Julius could tell that they were lying to him, and it was clear they did not want him to be with their daughter anymore. And this really broke his heart. Even her line was not going through anymore. It was obvious she had blocked him everywhere. And this rejection by Shola marked the beginning of Julius' downward spiral. He could not concentrate anymore at work. And to add salt to injury, he soon started spotting Shola frequently in that leisure jeep. It was clear that Shola was having a good time with her newfound lover. And this really made Julius' condition worse. He stopped going to work altogether. He would lock himself in his bedroom all through the day, crying and drinking himself to stupor, and refusing to eat anything. It was as if his life had come to an end. Faith was particularly disturbed about the state of her son, and when she found out that he was dejected because of Shola's rejection, she advised him to move on. My son, please don't kill yourself over that girl. A broken relationship is better than a broken marriage. You should be thankful to God she showed you her true character early enough. She counseled him, but well, the advice from his parents did nothing to help his situation. He felt betrayed by the very person he trusted the most. He clearly knew that all the money he saved with Shola had gone down the drain along with their relationship. He was dejected. He knew Shola and her family had rejected him because of his poverty. He knew if he was richer than the owner of that leisure jeep, Shola would have still been with him. His heart was bitter, and in this state, that was when some dark thoughts started crawling into his heart. How about I go back to Akin and do the rituals? I will be rich and highly respected by all, he thought to himself. And so, with a fractured conscience and a heart torn into 1,000 pieces, Julius packed his clothes and without uttering a single word to anyone, he went back to the city to pay Akin a visit once more. So here bring the part 2 of this story to a close. What do you think will happen in the next part of this series? Will Julius indeed do the money rituals? What will become his fate, his parents' fate, and that of Shola? Find out in the next part of this story. Thank you for watching today's episode from Anita Chocolates. I want to say a very big thank you to all my subscribers and lovers from all around the world. I must say your support means a lot to me. And please, if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, please click the subscription button. It is free. Our goal is to get to 10,000 subscribers before the end of this month. And I know with your support and God willing, it will be possible. Please leave a like on this video and share it with your loved ones.